Howdy, my name is Bhavya Shah and I'm here to present the paper titled Breaking the Fourth Wall of Data Stories Through Interaction. We'll go through the introduction, a motivation of the study, the summary of the work done, the main contributions of the work, the method used to verify the work, and directions for future references. As a communication medium, data stories are increasingly integrating interaction to support exploring their essential elements, including data, narrative, and visuals. Interestingly, recent years have witnessed an emerging interactive approach to data stories which require input from the readers. Combining interaction with the storytelling device, also referred to as breaking the fourth wall, is a crucial design concept in these stories. The other three walls frame the scene, while the fourth wall, which comes from theater, is an imaginary wall that divides performers from the audience. The fourth wall convention is also present in data stories, although it can be subverted using the BTFW interaction, which asks readers to provide individual inputs. The work explores PTFW interaction by following three complementary methods. First, they interviewed five data story experts to understand the benefits as well as challenges of applying PTFW interaction to data stories. Second, they searched data stories that are integrated with the interaction and coded them to identify design patterns. Third, they conducted a user study with some participants to link user attitudes to those of the storytellers in the expert interviews. In this section, we review the prior work in the field of interaction for data visualization and storytelling, highlighting the gap in understanding the role of PTFW interaction in building reader connections to data stories. The interaction for data visualization section reviews the evolution of interaction categorized by users' intent, actions, and context information. The interaction of data driven storytelling explores the role of interaction in conveying data insights through storytelling, identifying benefits to readers, and the lack of systematic exploration in this area. Breaking the Fourth Wall introduces the concept from theater and its application in various mediums, emphasizing its limited attention in data visualization. The researchers here particularly aim to explore the combination of PTFW interaction and data driven storytelling for the first time. The proposed method of study includes two main parts. One is the preliminary study, and second is the coding framework and design patterns. So, this study explores the application of PTFW interaction in data storytelling through semi structured interviews with five domain experts, including three data journalists and two data visualization researchers, each of them having about 6 to 7 years of relevant experience. Each interview was conducted online and it included two sessions. In the first session, the interviewees were introduced to the research topic and the concept of PTFW interaction. After the interviewees indicated that they were clear about the topic and the concept, the second session was about asking them a set of interview questions like what type of interaction did you use, why did you use it, and what challenges did you face. The study aims to understand motivations for using the interaction and the potential challenges faced by the storytellers. The analysis and findings are divided into two main parts. In the motivation part, we realized that it builds a strong story connection, it augments user engagement, and it improves information recall. But on the downside, the challenges faced were that there were information privacy concerns. It was difficult to maintain balance between interactivity and comprehensibility, and the learning curve of interaction was not very steep. To explore PTFW interaction, they first collected and analyzed a corpus of 58 data stories. Then, they derived a set of design patterns of interaction from the coding of the corpus. From a range of online sources, they collected data to leverage in BTFW interaction, and we see the frequency of these 58 data stories across the years and across different subjects in the figure. After data collection, they coded the corpus from two aspects. First, What is the input of the interaction? Second, what is the output of the interaction that responds to the input? They analyzed the input of BTFW interaction, which is the actions from the reader through the lens of the pyramid of data, information, knowledge, wisdom hierarchy. This is a widely recognized theory that originated from the field of information management. Then they coded the output of the BTFW interaction, which is the reactions from stories, by analyzing how it integrates the input into narrative or visuals of stories. To do this, they use the narrative structure developed by Amini. This narrative structure is used to classify the sequence of data regarding their role in the narrative, including establisher, initial, peak, and release. We can see the explanation in the left side of the figure. After coding, they found that these samples can be grouped into clusters, which is colored in blue in the framework on the left side. The samples in the same cluster share similar characteristics and constitute a design pattern. Based on the observation, they identified 6 design patterns of PTFW interaction that are commonly used in data stories, and that is what we're going to see next. So the first pattern is called golden hook. You can see the animation going on. Using golden hook, a data story is started with the establisher based on reader's personal data or knowledge. Like for example, in this case, we added the year. The design pattern can only be found at the beginning of the story and is used to help readers quickly understand the topic. The second is kaleidoscope. It is used at the initial of a data story where supporting facts are provided to reveal deeper insights. This design pattern requires readers' personal data as a supplement to the supporting facts and then presents the data as personalized visualization. Next, Simulator uses visualization as the input interface for exploration in initial of the data story. Specifically, the visualization models a fact or a theory that exposes parameters that readers can manipulate to change the behavior of the simulation. Then, as we can see in the figure, the spotlight is applied at the peak of a data story where the major insight is shared with the reader. This usually is in the form of a map to encourage readers to explore. Specifically, the visualization asks for readers' address and highlights the data points related to them. Magic Mirror is also used at the peak of a data story and can produce the most personalized story among all design patterns. Stories combined with this pattern usually takes the form of a quiz or a calculator, integrating readers' data to give highly customized insights. For example, in this case, we calculate the BMI based on height and weight of the person. Finally, Touchstone helps reveal the major insight in the peak of a data story by prompting readers to make a guess. Before showing the actual data, Touchstone asks reader to predict it based on their knowledge. So here, as an example, I'm drawing the graph, and then later when we see that how close our graph is to the actual output. This way, the readers are more likely to reflect on the gap and be impressed with the major insights. After identifying the 6 design patterns, we conducted a user study to understand its benefits and concerns. The user study consists of 3 sessions. In the reading session, the participants were presented with 2 interactive data stories chosen from a stimuli, chosen from our stimuli, and a non-interactive data story one at a time. In the interview session, we conducted a semi-structured interview with the participants to learn about their reading experiences. 2 weeks after the interview session, we invited our participants to complete the recall session, retelling the details of each story as much as possible. The study analyzed quantitative data from the questionnaires and qualitative data from the interviews and recall sessions with the participants. Thematic analysis of both of these outputs revealed the following themes: self story connection and engagement, information recall, story preference, the role of PTFW interaction, information privacy, interactivity and comprehensibility balance. All of these we discussed earlier. So which means that the results which we see are in support of the initial analysis. Now, there are a few limitations of the study which include limited corpus representativity, generalized user challenges, which means that the user are not generalized. There is a cultural bias and geographical limitations. The educational backgrounds of the participants vary. So these are some of the limitations. But in the future, we want to explore more combinations of PTFW with data-driven storytelling, and we want to draw parallels with sitcom techniques like pulling back the camera to reveal the medium's artificiality, etc. Thank you.